Welcome to the live show. We have a lot to go over. Initial jobless claims. We got U.S. inflation. We got the Fed Watch tool. Earnings coming up. Wednesday's a big day. You know, NVIDIA is going to be a game changer. Of course, we got NASDAQ currently open, still above the 10-day moving average, and Bitcoin falling below 115. So we have a lot to go over, and I don't want to waste any of your time. Make sure you vote on the poll. And right towards the end of the show, we're going to do our best to get through all of this data, all of the information, and why I'm so damn bullish in this stock market right now, and why I'm a little squeamish to say it myself. So stay tuned, and we will have the focus list right at the end. I promise it is an absolute banger, baby. Let's do this. All right, look, guys, I'm not going to bore you with this, but we're going to get through it quick. I want you to understand a lot of people are talking about the initial jobless claims and how the data is higher. Yes, it is higher than the previous few data points that came in, but if we zoom out, let's zoom out on the 5-year. You can see right here at the bottom here, we're right here in that average, right where we want to be. Yes, it's scary. It's gone a little higher, but yeah, that's part of it. It's part of the fluctuation. So I just wanted to point that out. A lot of talk, a lot of people, but if we zoom out, we can see we're pretty stagnant. We're staying right where we need to be. So that's our initial jobless claims. Zooming out, it doesn't look so bad. One thing what I've seen in our current U.S. inflation rates now, if you see over time, obviously with the COVID, the pandemic and the money printer turned on, the inflation rate, that's the reason why we needed to turn the money printer on. The inflation skyrocketed, right? The mandate is to get it down to that 2% area. We want to be at 2% is what Jerome Powell has been saying. We have been slowly coming down right now at 2.7%. That's been fluctuating up and down this year between 2.4 and 2.7%, depending on the data point. And you can see here we're at 2.7. So we're still coming down. We're still looking good. We're still looking healthy. With all of that being said, I've been seeing it all over the place, all over YouTube, everywhere, literally everywhere. Everybody's talking about the CME Fed tool now. Now they're talking about it. We've been talking about this for years. Guys, if you've been with me any amount of time, instead of looking at all that data, and yes, it's good to ingest it, it's good to understand it, but if we look at the CME Fed tool, I've been telling you, look at every previous video that we did this. Interest rates with Jerome Powell.
Oh, yeah.
And you will see I've been telling you 3 rate cuts for the year, and our first one was going to be back in, I believe it was June or July, but then watching the CME Fed tool, we seen the sentiment shift. And then we were only going to get 2-ish rate cuts, it looked, and then boom, we were back on the table for 3. So only for a short period of time, for about a month, were we off the table for 3 and only looking at 2. Then we started talking about September. September's the rate cut. We've been saying that for about 4 months now, guys, 4 months. And now it's here and everybody's using the tool. Just pay attention to the tool. Jerome Powell, as long as he's in office, he's pretty much said everything that he is going to do. He's been very clear and everybody's been, watching his every move, but he's been broadcasting it. And you might call me a fool for doing that, but huge shout out. What's up, Robert? What's up, Jimmy? What's up, Yosef? What's up, Mama? It's good to see you guys. Glad to have you here. Big shout out to B. Stewie. It's a big unfortunate, mishap going on in his family right now. Just nothing but the power and motivation sending to him. Hopefully, him and his family, and I don't mean hopefully, they will get through it. It's not that critical, but who am I to say? He's the one that has to deal with this. And just shout out to you. Get the rest that you need, brother, and keep on keeping on. And more to come with that, obviously. But yeah, Fed Watch tool, guys, you focus on this. It's pretty simple. 84%, say 0.25% cut. It's a small cut. But what does that small cut do? It increases spending everywhere, especially in the small cap Russell. And we'll go over that in just a minute. So the earnings whisperer, I told you I was going to go through this quick, guys. We're not going to be boring. Wednesday, that is our main watch here, is Wednesday. If we blow it out here, some people might be interested in BABA as well. That's also coming out. We have Snow, Marvel, Dell, CrowdStrike, OKTA, IREN. You guys know I was a big fan of IREN. That's got earnings coming up here very, very soon. CrowdStrike, if I didn't say it already. CrowdStrike, NVIDIA, Snowflake, HP, those are all going to be on Wednesday. Very important day on Wednesday, and quite a few on Tuesday as well. Another one that I know a lot of people are watching, and it is one of the leaders, is Affirm. Affirm's going to be on Thursday after the close, and then Ollie's and Dollar General are going to be Thursday before the open. So very, very important week still ahead of us with earnings. It's not over yet, folks, so please pay attention to what is in your wallet. What's up, Carl Burr? Longstanding member, good to see you in here, brother. I hope all is well. We are hoping for green days. We have a lot of different sentiment going both ways with this. You guys can see this NASDAQ. We've had this huge rip up, right? And we've only had a few pullbacks, and the pullbacks that we've had been to the 21-day moving average. You guys know that on this day right here, I called and I said we are now in a power trend and we are risk on. Okay, we are risk on right here through this breakout. We have been risk on through all of this, and there was only been one time that I was risk off, and that was right here when we fell below that 21-day moving average. And then before the meeting, I was very cautious here. I was very cautious. If I had to put money on it, which I didn't, I expected us to come lower, but and at least retest this area, but we did not. That's why, you know, nothing's certain. Now, what's up, Torque? I was actually just going to go into this. Torque and I have been chatting back and forth for a little bit, and you know, there's a lot of different ways to look at this. Personally, I don't like the fact that I'm long. I am biased to the long side because we have achieved new all-time highs, because amidst all the fear and all the BS that was going on, we've continued. We are cutting rates, and anytime we have been within 5% of new all-time highs in the major ETFs and indexes, we have gone 20 out of 20 times higher for the next year. So please pay attention to that. I am very bullish, but with that same sentiment, if everybody is bullish right now, it's not going to work out. So will we get a pullback? Will we get another scare? Will we get a retest, shake out some of those paper-handed Mickey Fickies so the diamond hands can hold on to the long side? Regardless of that, we have a focus list, and as long as we are above a 21-day moving average and we get these focus lists in where we perfect risk reward, we have our perfect strategy for the base and trend breakout. If we get a hold of these, we have to swing the bat. As traders, we have to swing the bat. I've been telling my wife constantly, I've been wanting a break. I've been wanting to take a break from the market, focus on some other things, and kind of just let my trades, but we are in a power trend. We are continuing to go higher. I have to stay focused. I have to continue making this money. I know it sounds silly, right? Like, oh, but Dave, you know, you're making money. Why are you complaining? It's exhausting, guys. It's exhausting to do this. To take a mental break would be nice so I could focus more on my jiu-jitsu and more on my psychology. But I know now is the time to be risk on, to stay focused until we break that 21-day moving average. Then I can wipe my hands, go to jiu-jitsu, and get my butt kicked. You know what I mean? So right now, I am risk on. Right now, I am headstrong on my focus list, and if these start to break out, I'm going to show you my A-plus trades very, very soon. Look at this right here, history of U.S. bear and bull markets. 4.3% on average with a cumulative total return of 150% for the bulls, as the bears only last 11.1 months with an average cumulative loss of 31%. It's better to be a bull. It's always better to be a bull, and I am bullish, okay? Bullish with no no where am I going with this? Let me take a sip. I am bullish until I am not. How about that? Bullish until we break the 21-day moving average. Then I'll be scratching my head and questioning my managed trades. I will not be taking any new ones. Make sure you guys vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen tomorrow. 42% say rip, rip, tater, chip. Another 33% are on Torque side with a pullback, and then it rips. Maybe a red to green day. What hurt us the most with that pullback? NASDAQ. What came up the highest after that? not the NASDAQ. IWM showed the true strength. When we are risk off, when we are risk on, because the Fed funding rate's making it cheaper for people to borrow money, that makes more people use that money for more speculative assets like small caps or small startup companies or small things that could possibly grow. It's more of a gamble, right? People are more willing to gamble when money is cheaper or easier to come by, right? So just keep that in mind. My focus list has a mix of everything, but a lot of it is going to be more catered to that small and mid cap sector, because those small and mid cap, the IPOs, the health, the gold sectors, and we'll go through some of the other sectors. When we focus on those, when we concentrate on exactly what's working in this market right now, that's where we can make the big freaking money, okay? Okay, so with all that being said, we're gonna start right in on the focus list. I'm not gonna mess around with you guys today. It's a pretty decent sized focus list. I haven't had one this long in a long time, so that goes to tell you, where my mind's at. Now, Hood, I've been in and out of Hood. This is my biggest money maker this year is Hood. We made a ton of money on this. And now we have formed this base. I really like this base. It did shake me out for break even. I took this trend break, it came back, stopped me out for break even. That's A-okay, that's fine. It's broken back up above this basing area again. So I find Hood very, very interesting. If it sets up well for me, let's say another trend break here, if it does something, similar to like what it did before, or it starts to form a base and it breaks this top up here at 117, I might be looking at it. Meta, I'm just gonna keep an eye on this because every time it's touched this 50-day moving average, it's rallied higher. Now, we've had a huge hit in these NASDAQ stocks, these, liquid leaders. But every time that's taken this hit onto this 50-day moving average, and even the last time it was running, you can see multiple times it touches this 50-day moving average and continues higher. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Not necessarily a play for me unless I'm going to use MSTU, which is a 2x leverage. Now Google, or there's a 2x leverage of Google. Is it GGLL? You guys let me know in the chat. I can't remember. What is the 2x leverage? I think it's GLL. Is it GLL? Let me see. Nope, that's not it. But there's a 2x leverage if you're feeling frisky. But here's the thing about Google. Look at this cup. See this cup right here? I really would love to see this cater to a handle, or you could consider this the handle, and now this is the breakout. So right here, cup with handle, and right here is the breakout area. Great risk reward there if you wanted to try Google. That 2x leverage might be great if you're a momentum trader like myself. Find that 2x and take it, let her rip, baby. PLTR, big pullback right to that 50-day moving average, as you can see. A-Lab, Torque brought this one up. If we go through the semiconductors, you can see a lot of them have taken a hit after that big pullback. You can see who was left swimming naked. A-Lab, fully clothed here, completely armored and shield, RS rating of 99, and look at the EPS and sales growth. Absolute monster. If you're in the semiconductor space, A-Lab is definitely the one to keep an eye on. Thank you, Jimmy and Yosef. It is GGLL. Thank you. I'm going to keep an eye or remember that. Obviously, if you look at GGLL, it doesn't look anything like Google. It's not forming that beautiful top, and that's because it is a 2x leverage. You only play this for the momentum, and then after the momentum is over, then you exit the trade. Easier said than done, obviously, but if you have rules in place, these are the way to go, because this moves 4.13% rather than the 2.5% Google is going to move. So it's going to make you more money quicker, but it goes the same for the downside. So make sure you're catching the momentum at the right side. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. And while I am sitting here talking, there's 10 of you in here. Let me know what is your best holding this year. Let me know what made you, or the biggest amount of money, or your best trade, I should say. Maybe not the most money, but your best trade. What have you taken this year that has made your biggest, not your biggest, but your best trade? Right here is IREN. You guys know I've been stalking this for a while. What I really liked about IREN is it had this fake breakout. I was in this. I absolutely loved it. Came back, gave it all right back. So because it came back down to break even, I sold half. That is part of my strategy now. And I'm glad I did, because it started to fall and I stopped out for a very small loss on this one. and then it came back. It rallied back. I couldn't buy back into this. It was just in my head, and I didn't like where the overall market was, but IREN has been showing relative strength. As you can see, 98 RS looking absolutely beautiful here. So keeping an eye on IREN. What's up, my G? Good to see you in here. Oh, no, you're sorry you're late. You better be sorry. No, my G, I really appreciate you stopping by, man. App, APP, and we'll go over AEVA very, very soon. I haven't looked at it since that massive decline it had. But APP, look at this. Absolutely. If you want me to point this out, look at that. That's the basing area. You can see it's created these 3 new higher lows now. And you can use that low as a stop or use this basing area that it's retested here. The EPS and sales growth is amazing. I suck at trading this one. I've probably lost a lot of money on app trying to get into this. Every time, it seems like every time I have tried to get into app, I've stopped out, and multiple times in a day and in a week. So this is kind of off the table for me unless I see a 5-star trade in it. I want to stay away. CBRE, this is absolutely beautiful. You have the trend break here and a base break. That's what I like to see on the basing breaks. It's following the 10-day moving average. It's coming up on this earnings gap up, right? We got a double surprise, 11.15% on the earnings and the revenue 3.15%. And we zoom in here and you can see it just absolutely ripped right through this. And CBRE, 4.8 billion market cap, so larger market cap. But this thing, and it's much, much slower. That's the whole reason why I didn't really take this. But this is the kind of trade we're looking for, folks. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, especially with the EPS and sales growth. This thing can really continue moving. But because it's such a slow mover, I have to look somewhere else. Oh, I'm sorry. My G, my bad, dude, my bad. You're right, I did. Thank you very much for pointing that out. My G says AEVA made you the most money. And that was an amazing trade, dude. That thing had a beautiful, beautiful basing break on it too. So yeah, absolutely. Coin. Yeah, Coin was oh man. And BBAI. Jimmy, you took BBAI? The trend break on BBAI? That was a good one, dude. Those ones are hard for me because, some of them just stay stagnant forever and they never bounce. And then some of them are just crazy trend breaks like that one. And there is actually a few out there setting up right now, but I usually stay away from them. Here's the next one, guys, Frog. So Froggy went to McCourtin and he did lie. Is that how you say that? If you don't see it, let me just show you. This is your basing breakout right here, okay? Now, I did not get in this basing breakout right at price. I actually took this at $46. I actually took this right above this. So the all-time high, the most recent all-time high break, that's where I actually got into this trade. It's $1 from where I wanted to get into this, but the volume was still there. I was still happy with the trade, and with the with what this looks like, I really think this thing can go. Now, if I'm wrong, that's totally fine. I'll stop out where I need to, and that's closing below that 10-day moving average, or also this $44.75 area, but I'm in Frog. It's not the hottest sector. It was a hot sector, right? Software, but there's a lot of packaged software that are setting up out there that are smaller caps, right? This is a 5 billion. It's still a pretty large cap, but it's not one of those, it's not the CrowdStrikes, the Palantirs that have major pullbacks. These ones are still holding up relatively well, and they're much smaller. This is also a niche company. I looked into a little bit, but it's a niche company. So it's very focused on one thing, and that's like channeling the data, making it easier for users. Not a ton of people are doing this specific niche, but that's that. I also have COMM. I really like this. Now, the thing with COMM is it is a little extended from the rest of its moving averages, but what I like about these stocks, and you'll know if you look back and look at like OUST and stuff like that, some of our biggest, fastest movers do not respect this moving average. They'll respect a moving average like this one is on its 10-day moving average, but it'll base out here at the top and then it'll just rip crazy. Now, because this is a smaller cap, and I don't like to call 3.46 billion market cap a small cap, but it is a smaller cap, and you guys can see that this thing moves 5.77%, and look at this base. I love the base. If it gets above that $16, and we see that confirmation volume on the 5-minute candle, the 5-minute time frame, I really think that this thing can get going. Jimmy, AVGO, yeah, dude, that was a big winner. That was actually my biggest loser this year. January 14th, when DeepSeek came out, AVGO, I took a net loss of 7% in my overall account, 7%. And now I've fought back from January and made not only all of that back, but so far, it's the best year I've ever had. So AVGO, I'm glad you made money on it, dude, because they rocked my world, dude. I was playing AVGX at 2x leverage when DeepSeek decided to take a turn on me. Let's see, but look at the volume on earnings. Oh yeah, COMM, absolutely, dude. Yeah, the highest volume ever on earnings, just absolutely ripped. And then its future guidance is actually estimating higher EPS, and they're actually looking at getting some sales growth. Another thing about communications too is if you look at XLC, which is the spiders, the sector itself, communication is way up, almost new all-time highs as well. So COMM in the very, very good sector, forming a very nice base. But one thing that Torque did point out to me is that it's very extended from its 50-day moving average. It is. Just keep a close eye on it because I really like that base. We also have PGY, very big base here, 3 new higher lows. I'd much rather see this get much, much tighter here. But looking at it and then looking at its EPS and sales growth, I could see this thing just ripping, just completely breaking through this and going higher. It's in the packaged software sector as well, just like Frog here. Like I said, there's a lot of packaged softwares that are looking good, but right now the sector is kind of shaky, especially with CrowdStrike earnings coming up on Wednesday. You know, it makes me, kind of cringe. Speaking of cringe, here is Hinge, HNGE. This is in the healthcare sector. It's a newer IPO, and check this out. What I like about Hinge is this undercut. It's undercut this huge gap up, almost filled the gap, didn't fully fill the gap, but almost filled the gap, then pulled right back into its area. And this area here, I really feel like if this breaks out of this area, I really think this thing can get going. So healthcare has been beaten down, but lately we've seen a lot of pharmaceuticals, a lot of therapeutics, and some healthcare. This is in the electronic technology and the electronic instruments. So let me just read you really quick what they do. Digital healthcare company that develops software for joint and muscle healthcare. It leverages software, including AI, of course, to largely automate care for joint and muscle health, delivering an outstanding member experience. So yes, they're using AI. They're trying to stay hip and cool. They do have some sales growth here. The thing with Hinge is, it moves very fast. It's a 7% mover. It's a newer IPO. And if it gets above this, it's new all-time highs. Anything can happen. So I really like Hinge. I'm keeping a close eye on it. It's one of my #1 picks. I really think it looked better on this. If I looked up HNGE on here, I liked it better right here in making this base at 58.33. I think it looks better on that. So this right here, 58.33. This to me is the key area right here. Okay, and I feel like if it breaks above that and we start heading towards 60, I think that there's a lot of momentum that could chase this thing higher. So big moves up on volume. These pullbacks are on lighter volume. I like Hinge. Let me know what you guys think about it. ONDS is another one, EPS and sales growth looking really good. I don't have a play for this one here. Obviously, if I took it now, it would be late. I'm considering more this to be our basing breakout, but I still wouldn't have played it because it never got tight up underneath here. But, ONDS, it's looking good. It's one I'm going to keep on my watch list. Another one of the semiconductors. Now, this semiconductor is actually closely related to solar energy. It provisions of electrical balances of solar systems. And you guys are gonna start to see, I've been talking about solar for quite some time now, and I really would like to get into the space, especially if we see proper bases breaking out like this one right here. Now, you guys don't normally see me looking at stocks that show this crazy, shitty downtrend right here, but here's the thing, the whole sector in itself, FSLR, TAN, the whole ETF sector has been beaten down and getting its ass handed to it for quite some time now. I really think it is time for it to shine. So we're gonna see if SHLS can start to break out here. We're starting to see future EPS guidance, and we're starting to see some sales growth and future sales growth. So we'll see what's going on. Let's see what Torque has to say. Oh man, red to green on Hinge would be money for an entry tomorrow. I'm glad you agree, brother. Yeah, because it's right there, almost at its basing breakout, in my opinion. And if it does, it pulls back. Let's say the whole market, because everybody's so crazy about how bullish things are, the whole market pulls back, shakes everybody out, then HNGE pulls back up with the rest of the market, breaks on through and heads higher. That could be a play that shows proper risk management using the low of that day. So I like your thoughts there, Torqued, and you've been saying the whole red to green thing quite a lot. You've been using that quite a bit, have you? So I like SHLS. Keep that on your watch list. I don't want to look back on this next week and everybody going and saying, damn, I missed it. You know, it's got proper risk reward. It's in that 650 area. I told you guys that I would give you some faster moving names, and this thing moves 8.5%. So keep an eye on it. BTCS, this is in your finance and regional banks. It's got Bitcoin in the name. It's a currency ecosystem and blockchain technology. Manages an online marketplace where consumers purchase merchandise. You can see the EPS and sales growth is absolutely bonkers. I really like this base right here. If I'm going to point it out, let me point it out. Look at that, $4.90 or $5. If it gets above that $5 area, watch out. I really think this thing can start ripping. AS, big miss for me and the team. AS, I've been watching this for quite some time. Somewhere in here, B. Stewie actually pointed out AS for me. And I looked at it and I said, you know, I like it. Smaller company. It's got very good EPS and sales growth. They're starting to manufacture and send out things globally. You know, this place I believe is like Finnish, if I remember right. Let's see. They're located in Finland. I was close. They're located in Finland, and you know, they can branch out. They can get a lot more people sponsored. And we had an EPS right here, or I'm sorry, an earnings right here, and it came out very good, but it didn't show good in the stock, and it pulled right back up into its buy area and broke on through. For me, this would have been a hard buy because we don't have new higher lows put in, but we do have a beautiful undercut. It undercuts all of this price action. All of this basing area undercuts it, pops right back into its area, and then pushes right on through. I would not be surprised if this thing just completely rips higher. I missed my entry. So the only thing I can do is hope for a pullback and then for it to take off. So then I can say, hey, I missed my second entry. So that's usually how that happens. Here's RUN, which is another semiconductor in the solar space. Shout out to B. Stewie for showing me this one. I like this one too. This thing is popped up here. It's still got a lot of proving to do, but I want to keep it on my watch list because it does have the EPS and sales growth. It is in that solar sector. It does have a relative strength rating of 98. I just want to see that 200-day moving average start to curl up higher, right? So I think this thing can really get to running as well. And that's another one of these really deep. I mean, I shouldn't even be looking at this. If it wasn't for this volume down here at the bottom, you know, really showing capitulation, I would never look at something like this. Like if somebody came into our channel right now and was like, hey, take a look at Run, I would be dogging the shit out of them right now. So maybe I should just take this off my watch list. But you guys understand the EPS and sales growth, and it's a beat down company. All of a sudden they get this huge EPS, you know, I don't really want to call this a huge surprise. Earnings, I don't know, 1,294%. Yeah, that's a pretty big surprise. Surprise, everyone. We actually make money now, you know, so just keep an eye on them. I have them put in the back here. It's definitely not my first pick, but I do want to keep an eye on them. BE, now energy in certain sectors are doing very well. This is the electrical products, and you can see here, new all-time highs. Once again, huge EPS and sales growth. Why is it a leader? Can Slim, right there, baby. ARRY, another one that's been beaten down in this solar sector that has EPS and sales growth, popping back up here. Look at this. I want to be a part of something, guys. I'm going to be a part of this $9 stock when everybody's talking when it's $40, you know, hey, you know, why weren't you buying this at $9, you know? And you know damn well when this thing pops up here and then forms a base at 16, I'm going to be wanting to be a part of it. Well, I want to find these right now. We know that we are getting hot sectors rolling in off of beaten lows. Okay, that's going to be your healthcare, your biotech. If you guys looked at biotech lately, it's getting its ass handed to it. Now all of a sudden, therapeutics and biopharmaceuticals and healthcare are starting to show. We're starting to see rotation. We're starting to see rotation, and they're going into the sectors that we had mentioned previous. Another one, guys, I haven't looked at you in a while. Let me give you my case study on you. Let's catch up on the chat. What's going on, Jolene? It is good to see you. I tell you what, Jolene, you are amazing. Huge shout out to you. Jolene, I can count on you. I really appreciate the conversations that we're having. She's helped me with psychology lately. And I'm telling you guys, psychology is tough. It's the final frontier in this. Psychology is absolutely dog shit when it comes to trading until you have a strategy and understand risk management. I'm going to say that again. If you are reading and listening to psychology because you want to be a good trader and you're new to trading, forget all of it. Psychology only comes in trading after you have proven to yourself you have the strategy, the skill set, and the risk management, and most of all, the discipline to trade. That is when psychology comes into play. But you will never have any of that. You will never make it to psychology until you have that, at least a good basis first. Okay, and I feel like I'm finally on to that section, and I feel like it's harder than anything. It's easy to buy and lose and sell or win, but it's hard to really understand, to help your mind break free from all these bells and whistles, the lights, the thoughts, the feelings, your emotions, right? So shout out to you, Jolene. Just nothing but love, girl. Let's see. What up, Loke Doc's in the building. Good to see you, brother. Hell yeah. Reddit is going to be interesting to watch with a little undercut after hitting all-time high. We're back under previous resistance. We can jump over to Reddit. Let's take a look at Reddit. So this is still on. It's not on my focus list right now, guys. But yeah, this thing is creating kind of like a cup and handle. Obviously, it broke out above this. But if it forms anything, any type of vase or a trend here, look at the EPS and sales growth. I mean, you definitely want to keep this thing on your watch list. If you don't have it on your watch list, that's A-okay. We'll be reviewing it every week. This is Unity. Unity oh, actually, I wanted to point out too. He was talking about this undercut and rally. So it undercut. The only thing I think when we talk about an undercut, and I think of an undercut, I much rather see an undercut more like here. So we have a huge base, and then the undercut would be undercutting all of this price action here. So when I look at something like this, and I could be totally wrong, I'm just telling you how I think of it. When I see this right here, I don't really think of that as an undercut. I just think of that as a pullback, right? It's not undercutting really anything. You can consider it undercutting maybe these 3 days, and if you really zoom out, it's not really undercutting anything here because it's a peak top. I like to consider my undercuts more like undercutting an area of resistance and then rallying back up into those areas. But I could be completely wrong. I don't know what the actual definition of an undercut and rally is. That's just how I've ingested it. So correct me if I'm wrong, honestly. I would love to learn. So Unity, guys, I really, really want to show you Unity because I like it on multiple time frames here. I like the daily. Why? Basing breakout right here. This could happen tomorrow morning, folks. Also, zoom out on Unity. Let's zoom out here. Let's go to a weekly time frame, okay? Look at this weekly time frame, folks. Humongous area right here at this $44, $45 area. Humongous area of resistance. If it breaks through that area of resistance, I think Unity can really start to head higher. And the beautiful thing about this too is it's Warren Buffett backed. He has been buying Unity all throughout this last year, okay? So I like Unity. What I don't like is the EPS and sales growth. They need to start turning things around. It sure does look like they are starting to turn things around, and I really think big things can be in their future. But for now, Unity goes on the watch list. It's got an RS rating of 98, and I'd like to see things start to kick up in Unity. And I have to have it on my focus list because I really like it. It also moves 7%. It's a big stock, 16 billion shares, and it moves 7% in its average daily range. Let's see. Jolene said, thank you, David. Glad to give it back to you. You have given me so much. Jolene, you're awesome. Thank you. NEXT, we've been watching this for a while. I believe B. Stewie. B. Stewie is the one that pointed this out to me a while back. This thing just been really trading sideways, chopping around, but now creating those new all-time highs. I really think this thing can get going here. I love the EPS and sales growth. I don't know what to do with this trade at this point. You know, I really don't like what it did here. It's not tradable in my opinion. You know, if it continues to trade sideways and show us a base here, something I can play off of, I want to be a part of it. AVAH definitely extended from that 50-day moving average and definitely showing, you know, topping tail candles right here. But if it can continue to base out and let some of these moving averages catch up, the EPS and sales growth is there, and it is another one in that healthcare sector as well. You can see a base on top of a base. Inside the William O'Neill How to Make Money in Stocks, they talk about the base on top of bases and how they can be a very, very strong area to try and join. Of course, you can't talk about solar without talking about FSLR. Wow, it looks like I created a windstorm in here. Let me get rid of all this junk. I remember when FSLR had this huge pop over here, guys, and I wanted to be a part of this. I think I tried to play this basing breakout here and stopped out for break even. I also think I tried it somewhere over here. I don't remember exactly, but First Solar is back up into these areas. And you know, if you're going to talk about solar, FSLR, real company, EPS and sales growth, nothing too crazy, but it looks like they are, their forecast for the future is looking really, really good. So RS rating of 85 moves 4.67%. If you're into the solar, if you're thinking solar is going to come off of its bottom, FSLR is one you just got to keep an eye on. UMAC, unusual machines. Holy guacamole. This is a very fast mover. 9.28%, RS rating of 99. They have a future guidance of some growth in the EPS and sales growth. They are not profitable just yet, but you can see here, if we zoom all the way out here and come off of its top tail, look at that. New higher lows, 3 new higher lows. This thing could really get to ripping. UMAC, unusual machines, electronic technology sector. Let's see, provisions of drone solutions. So it's a drone. It offers production, entertainment, recreation, and competitive racing industries. So that's really cool, very interesting if you're into that. I like everything about this trend. I would love to see this thing break out. You know, I'd much rather see more sustainable EPS and sales growth, but you can't. You know, you can't win them all. VSAT extended from the 50-day moving average, but still holding that 10-day moving average. Do I got to point it out? Basing breakout right here. I'd love to see 2 or 3 more inside days here. If I painted a perfect story, it would be something like this before yeet skeetily doing to the north side. So we'll see very, very soon. I know everybody might be butthurt on BMNR if Bitcoin continues to pull back, but if this thing starts to take off this breakout, you better watch your ass, as well as SBET, another one. This is running off of Ethereum, I do believe. And if you guys want to be a part of this, these are definitely ones to keep a close eye on, because I think that if this breaks these trends here, they really can get to ripping again. You got to be careful because it's got some bag holders up here in that $80 area. But regardless, if you're a momentum trader and you're looking for a small cap stock, why small cap stock? Well, simply because small caps are kicking ass and taking names. Goodness gracious. Don't be throwing money at me, Gary. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. And thanks for the subscription. Thank you guys for subscribing. I do appreciate everybody being here. But wow, goodness gracious, I was taken off guard by that, Gary. I don't even know how to act now. That's so funny, man. All right, I gotta take a sip. We gotta get back. We gotta get back in the zone. Oh man, is that more than one? I hope you didn't do. Oh, okay, good. That's just one, right? Jeez, ow. Man, up at the top of the chart, it like shows up multiple times, like you hit it like a bunch of times. Holy guacamole. Man, thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. This one's for you. Cheers to you. This one's for you, not for me. I'm gonna have to start saving up some more scrap to give you now. All right, guys. let's get back in. Let's get back into it. So SBET's kicking ass, taking names. Another huge one that you got to keep an eye on is Open Door. Yes, Open Door. Now, why am I looking at this crazy volatile average daily range of 19% in this stock? And not to mention, Wall Street Bets ranked #1. Everybody's talking about this stock. So why are we looking at it? Because of the volatility. They do have some EPS. They do have some sales growth. I don't think that they're, making money hand over fist right now, but they're starting to show that they are selling. Look at this. We zoom out here. See right here at this $5 basing area. It just got so much volume, so much volatility. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm not going to trade this thing unless it sets up again for me. So what I mean by setting up again for me, I would simply do it something like this. Pulls back, starts to create those new higher lows, and bases out right here before ripping higher. That's what I need to see. I'm not gonna play with this thing. I'm not buying when it's extended right here. Of course, you might, and it might just go to 100. I don't freaking know. But what I will say is, with my strategy, what keeps me safe, what helps me manage my risk is gonna be something with new higher lows getting tight. So that way, instead of buying here and having to risk somewhere down here and having all of this area I have to risk, I can risk somewhere here and only risk 10 to 15 cents. That is what I'm waiting for. And if it doesn't give it to me, that's fine. I'm gonna continue watching this crazy volatile stock. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So we also have Arlo, A-R-L-O, amazing looking basing area. What I don't like is all this chop right here. It was surrounding its earnings debut. We do have some EPS and some sales growth. It's not the best looking, but I love these bases. So if it can base and break out, it's one you can keep on your watch list. I don't think I'm gonna take this trade just because of what I said here. We have much better trades out there with EPS and sales growth. We also have RSI here, amazing EPS and sales growth. It already looked like it broke out here. Look at this. Beautiful basing breakout right here on the old Jerome Powell chat at the old foxhole. I really like this cup. EPS popped out here. Beautiful surprises, 75% surprise on the earnings. Popped way up here, started to get tight. And this is exactly what I was saying, about the last stock. I'd want to see it get tight, get really, really tight here. And you can see we had this big area, big push up, expansion, contraction. See that contraction gets really tight, expansion, contraction gets really tight, and then scoops right on higher. So I really like the looks of that. RSI 4.60, it's too late for me now. Again, a pullback, a retest would be great, but I suck at buying those retests, man. I really do. Some of the best buys are breakouts. They come back down, they retest that area, they show that it's a true area, and then it continues higher, So we'll see. What's up, Michael? Michael Anthony in the building. PFE had 8.5 billion shares bought by Starboard. The buys under value company was on August 14th after August 5 earnings. We can look at PFE. Let me just show you this WRBY really quick. This is the last one I got on my focus list. I really like this cup with handle, folks. I do like me some cup with handles. And you can see right here, there's your cup, there's with handle, there's your EPS and sales growth. It's everything that I need to take this trade except for what? It's in retail trade or specialty stores. So those retail trade, those specialty sectors, that's like your Amazon, your Walmart, your Costco. How well are those doing? Well, they're doing all right, but they could be doing better, right? We also have Baba. They have earnings coming out as well. So it's one I'm keeping an eye on. I know nothing about the stock, but I do like the technicals on it. New higher lows being formed. All the moving averages heading higher. EPS and sales growth, and the market conditions are right for it. So to recap, here is my focus list. You can get it for free. Just get it for free. Do your own damn homework. No, you can just go through, add all these. You can keep an eye on it if you want. If you're part of our Discord, if you want to be a part of our Discord, just ask. You can join. I'll send you a link, but you have to be invited now. And yeah, definitely take these in, ingest these. It's going to be a crazy day. And just going back to the NASDAQ to do just kind of a recap here, look at the S&P 500. Look at it. What is this? What is this right here? What's Trump doing right here? That's Liberation Day, folks. That is when that's when Trump decided to liberate us from our whatever we were being liberated from being bullied by other countries, from having too high of tariffs and us not making enough money, whatever he did, I'm liking it because the market's up, what? How much this year? Where's January? Let's just look, guys. Let's look where we're at. We are up 7.3% this year so far, and that is after Liberation Day. If you guys were with me before Liberation Day, none of us were worried during Liberation Day because our rules showed us when we were below a 21-day moving average, we were risk off, and we watched all of this shit happen right before our eyes, and we were not trading. We were not trading at all. And then once we got liberated and we got above the 21-day moving average, we shown a power trend. We got in and we made the most of it, and that is why we are doing so damn good this year, and I hope you guys are doing just as well as I am. We can actually just go over it really quick. I'm very, very transparent on this show. Obviously, I don't show you numbers. I show you percentages because I don't want anybody knowing, what I'm making. My close friends and family, they know. It's not that big of a deal, but I just wanted to show you guys here my P&L. Now, the last 2 months have been absolutely amazing. I've been absolutely kicking ass. It's been straight up. This month has just been sideways. I'm down a little bit, very, very small, but it's just been a sideways P&L here for me, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having a sideways P&L because if you look at the overall market, it was tough. It was tough to trade. It was really choppy. Here's the realized gains and losses. This is a much clearer perspective as to how I take my trades. I am the world's best loser. Look at all these losses. But what's the biggest difference about these losses? If you look at the percentage total here, the percentage loss is always, always, always less than 10%, unless you get like a July 14th DeepSeek news that comes out that completely smacked my account. I took a 7% loss on that trade. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I couldn't avoid that, right? But the things I can avoid, I do. And you guys can see here, all my losses are small relative to my overall account. And my wins are usually big. These are usually break-even trades, these small little ones. Break-even trades, but that's because when we push up, I take gains out. When we push up, I take gains out. As we come back down, we start breaking those moving averages. All my rules keep me safe. And you can see here, I am the world's best loser here because I have learned from my losses. I take small losses and I let my winners run. And that is why this year we are doing so damn well, okay? And I hope you guys, that's why every morning I always say risk management, risk management, risk management, because if you don't understand risk management, then you are gambling. You have no idea what the hell you're doing. Quit gambling, especially with your family's money. Now, if you know it's a gamble, then, gamble. But if you are trying to consider yourself a trader or you're in my damn Discord, don't post your gambles. I want you to post your trades. We are here to get better each and every single day, and I don't mess around with this crap. I really don't. I take this very, very serious, so I want you guys to take it serious too. Norman Conklin, what's up, my dude? Norman Conklin, the longest standing member in the building. Norman Conklin, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you joining up. Let's see. Let's go over PFE as your boy Michael Anthony brought up. PFE here, wow, yeah, it's actually looking like it's starting to turn around. Now, right when you said PFE, I thought, okay, I gotta look at this piece of crap one more time, because if we zoom all the way out, and I don't really need to, it's been on a huge downtrend, super beaten down. But as we've been talking about, pharmaceuticals, therapeutics, healthcare, those things are starting to turn around. And if we can catch, I don't wanna say catch the bottoms, but if we can find the proper risk management in those low-hanging fruits, that is ideal. Now, I don't like PFE right now. I'd like to see it, the 200-day moving average start to curl up to the north side, but I do hear and understand the bullish sentiment that you're coming from. I just don't see it in the technicals. Now, you could say 3 new higher lows. Yes, 1, 2, and 3. Earnings is out of the way, and they are starting to see some EPS and some sales growth, but their forward guidance isn't showing profitability. So I do think that there are better trades out there that you can make a lot more money a lot faster in than PFE, especially because it only moves 1.84% in a day. So it moves about as fast as, Apple does. It's very slow. It's a very slow mover. So I think there's faster movers, but it all depends on how you play. This might be the perfect trade for you. What else do we got? Let me know in the chat right now what you guys want me to take a look at, because there is a ton of stocks I didn't put on here simply because there are so many setups out there. And let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you're looking at, dog. Thank you, Norman says, really good work. Thank you. Putting in that work, baby. Gots to, especially at 10 at night. Michael Anthony says, the tariff hasn't hit companies. That's going to hurt earnings by people on CNBC, and I think Powell said the same thing on Friday. Absolutely. Actually, Michael, earlier today, we went over the job growth and the inflation and all that stuff, and it's probably a big reason why he's deciding to cut, right? Or at least that's what CNBC and all the people that are talking about it are going to say. They're going to bring up reasons why we're doing this or why the market's bad or why this. And if you look at the NASDAQ, I even put this way down here. You know, I put in what bad news, because the market just kept on heading higher. Tariffs and all this crap kept coming up, inflation, all this stuff kept coming up. The market doesn't care about that bad news. That's the issue. We have to focus on the chart that's in front of us, because we're always going to have bad news. We will always have bad news. Sometimes the best time in a trade, in a stock, is at its highest, its peak performance, its best EPS and sales growth is when it starts to decline. And same thing in the opposite. Let's see, what's up, my G? In your system, Chief, do you have a limit of ADR percentage you try to respect? Yeah, I do try to keep it above 4%. I do. And my G, I know you called me out on playing Google. That, you know, and that was fair. It's fair to call me out on Google. I made a very, very small amount. We could pretty much just say this is a break-even trade. I played that basing break on Google, and my G was like, hey, what are you doing? It's 2%. Why are you giving everybody shit if you're playing something 2%? He didn't say all of it like that. But, you know, you got to give him credit. I should have played GGLL. I would have made a lot more money. You know, I really would have. But I was in Hood, and I had a lot of money in Hood again for my second go, about a quarter of my account. And so I wanted to be fully invested, but I did not want to be in something as fast as Hood was moving. So I did take Google. So I try to respect the 4% and above. When it goes to as much, a maximum, that's where I was going too. A maximum ADR, dude, I'm telling you, if I see a 5-star setup, okay, it really doesn't matter. I think if it's a higher average daily range percentage, I have to equate for slippage and am I gonna hold this mover overnight? If I am, and it's a 15% ADR, I have to adjust myself for that. So it's, to me, if you're playing a 15% ADR, it's kind of, and you're gonna hold overnight, that's kind of a gamble, right? Because you can wake up and it can be 15% down, right? It can. Anything can happen with these stocks. It can go to zero or go to the moon, who knows? But you have to adjust accordingly. So no, I don't have a maximum limit, but when I look at those faster moving stocks, I really ask myself, is it worth my time and mental capacity to get into something that I know I'm not gonna be able to hold for months at a time? You know, if it moves up that fast, it's gonna come down just as fast. And I'm not the kind of guy to be in front of his computer all day, every day. I'm actually out working, I'm doing things. I work a 9 to 5. I got a family everybody's into sports. So, you know, I don't wanna be or have to attend to every alert that's going off and have to be nervous and worried. I'd rather come back at the end of the day to see what happened. And you probably can do the same thing with those maximum ADR percentages, but I tend to lean towards the 4 to 8, I guess, percentage. But no, I'll take a fast one. I'll take a fast one, my G. Let's make some money, baby. And I used to play them all the time. That's all I used to play. You know, the big gapper, small cap gappers and all that crap. Yeah, I'm over all that shit. So is my P&L. But PRCH, as Torque just brought up, you know, basing breakout, it's not too extended from its 50-day moving average. It's holding the 21-day moving average very, very well. This basing breakout also shows some EPS and sales growth. So PRCH looks pretty good. It's also in the finance. And if you guys have looked at XLF, you'll see the finance ETF has broke out and made a new all-time high. So if you're looking into that PRCH is definitely one to keep on your watch list. Thank you, Torque, for bringing that up. Let's scroll down here. I just want to read what portion of that finance. So Porch It engages in the development and operation of vertical software platform. It operates through the vertical software and insurance segments. So it's in both the insurance and software. So it's very dynamic company. So I could read on, but it gets pretty boring after that. But yeah, it's a very dynamic company too. So very interesting. It almost seems niche-like, but look at this, new higher lows. Obviously you're on a beautiful trend. All moving averages are heading higher, and it's a fast mover. This thing moves 6.9%, so 7%, and it only is a 1.73 billion market cap. So definitely room to grow, definitely a fast mover, definitely one we should put on our watch list. PRCH, boys. Let's go. What else you guys got for me? AMCR, let's take a peeky gander. What about you, my G? Do you have a maximum ADR and why? I see we got another subscriber. Let me see if I can catch the name. Ken? Ken Liu? Or Ken Lee? L-I-U. I don't know how to pronunciate that because I'm just a stupid American. L-I-U. I'm going to look it up. How to pronounce L-I-U. Let me play it. Oh, it's just, I gotta get through this sponsor. Hang on, let me skip this.
Mispronounced, so make sure to stay tuned to the channel. So no, it is not said Liu.
You?
Rather, Leo.
Leo? Leo? Kevin Leo. Thank you for the subscription, brother. Am I saying it right? I don't know. But I'm doing my damnedest, brother. I'll learn. I'll learn. So AMCR, let's take a look. So I just gotta be brutally honest with you. We're on the daily time frame. If we zoom out, the very first thing I would say is we're below this 200-day moving average. That's very important to me. If we're below a 200-day moving average, that means there is nobody really interested in this thing, okay? So I do not like this at all. It's at a new all-time low for the year. Maybe not the year, because we have the Liberation Day really smacked it. I do see a triple bottom here, but as William O'Neill says, there's no such thing as a triple bottom, okay? So I don't like it, Michael. I'm gonna be very honest. I think there are so many amazing stocks out there right now. There's no point in really aiming for the bottom of one of these downtrending stocks. Now, it is a newer IPO. If this thing can, say, do something like this, it pops up above all the moving averages, creates new higher lows, or even forms a base here, then I would be looking at it to get a breakout area of this. Because then, Michael, it's new all-time highs. There's nobody to sell off into me. Right now, with every tick that this goes higher, there's somebody holding this stock that is willing to sell it because they are down money, okay? So that's just my thought, and it's a little bit of the psychology behind that. You know, there's just so many other things to look at, man. There really is. I would just steer clear of that stock. That's just me. That's how I trade. Just same thing with like United Healthcare. UNC, right? UNH, sorry. UNH, like everybody was talking about trying to fish this bottom here, right? And even Warren Buffett's buying into this thing, right? So, you know, it's one of those things that's like, yeah, and you know, I was tempted too. Huge pitfall, like, oh, this thing's gotta bounce back up, right? Look at this. I mean, huge boat of a stock, 278 billion market cap, you know, and so you wanna buy these lows, but then when the dips keep on dipping, and then I mean, you're stuck. Like now, you know, you bought a stock at 480 because you wanted to buy the dip at support, but you didn't have new higher lows. It just keeps falling, you know? Now, this thing could easily form a base and slowly start to trend back up and 10 more years make a ton of money, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm 100% here for momentum, and there's no momentum on this. And if it is here, it's to the downside, so keep a very close eye on that. Insiders are buying AMCR. Yeah, and back to the news thing, man. You can read all that news, and if you're gonna buy on news and you're gonna sell on news, I can tell you, you're gonna have a hard time in the market. And yes, insiders are buying. That can be a catalyst to help bring in your ideas and your thoughts of why this might be a better buy. But I would start with technical analysis, and then if the technicals show something or a catalyst, and look into catalyst, what makes a catalyst. But insiders buying, not much of a catalyst, you know. But I do appreciate it. Loke Doc says, still in bros with some runners. Let's see bros. Yeah, Bros. I really like Bros EPS and sales growth. Obviously, taking some of that share from Starbucks. You know, Starbucks really getting their butts handed to them. But Bros just can't get lift off. They got new higher lows here. They got new lower lows here. So it's really just feeding right into all this crap. Let me clean this up. I want to do a point of control on this stock. And let me know in the chat, guys. If you got anything you want me to look at, let me know ASAP, because I'm going to take off here in just a minute. Excuse me. Probably shouldn't have burped in the mic. Ah, he's so dreamy. Okay, there we go. Oh, and you can see right there. There is your point of control right there, folks. The issue is getting through all this volatility. I would say your basing breakout area for Bros is going to be right there. Why? Because once it gets through all of this selling power and it breaks through that $72 area, then there is not much selling volume above it, but it has all this buying volume to help capitulate it higher. So I like the EPS and sales growth, even though it is slowing down a little bit on the EPS, it doesn't matter. The sales growth is there, so we'll see. It doesn't want to capitulate higher, doesn't want to head higher, break through that 71. That's where I would want to try and buy it. It's still a 4% average daily range, so I like it. I'm glad you're still holding it, look, Doc. It's a good one. Obviously, it broke my strategy a long time ago. You know, when we break that, when we break the moving averages, I'm out. I'm looking for another momentum stock, but it's still holding. It's still doing well. Riding the 200-day moving average. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. Listen, I absolutely love and appreciate every single one of you being here. Gary, thank you so much for the super like. Is that a super like? Let me know if you're let me know if you're still in the chat. Let me know if you're still in the chat, Gary. I got something for you, Gary. You guys remember the video I made for super likes and super chats? I'm gonna play it for Gary. Gary, are you in the chat still? You gotta let me know. I don't want to play this unless you're in here. If you guys are still here, you might want to leave now. All right. Gary, are you still here? I hope he is. All right, I'm gonna play it. This one's for you, Gary.
We just got ourselves a super chat, or a super like. I love it, I love it, I love it. Thank you so much. Let's dance, baby. Oh, yeah. Making that money, making it rain.
Yeah. Just in case we got any super likes. I figured I'd save that and play it for you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's see, Eagle Voyage says, okay. What's going on, Eagle Voyage? Good to see you back. Torqued Up says, hard to be bearish. Lots looking great. We will see what happens tonight. Yeah, dude, I have to agree with you. It's really hard to be bearish. I want to be bearish because the sentiment, everybody's like, oh, bull market, bull market, bull market. It makes me want to be bearish, but I can't be. I'm not going to listen or think about what anybody else is doing. I'm telling you, I am quite literally just going to focus on my strategy. And right now I am risk on. We're above a 21-day moving average. We have setups in strong sectors. Let's make some freaking money, folks. And if not, let's lose a little. Let's make a lot or let's lose a little, right? Risk management 101, boys. Carl Burr says, nice moves. Hey, thank you. Man. That's awesome. Well, if anything, folks, if you made it this far in the chat, thank you so much for being here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. My G's, he said his eyes are bleeding. I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing trading week. I will be in the Discord. I also have Thursday and Friday off, so I will be very, very adamant and in the Discord and focused on the overall sentiment in the market. So much love. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will walk you out. Love you, Beefy Stew. We miss you. Thank you guys so much. Norman Conklin, thank you, brother. You have been here for me for quite some time, the longest standing member here. Thank you so much. Joseph, thank you guys. I hope you have a good night. My G, always here. Sorry to make your eyes bleed. Carl Burr, thank you so much for being a member, dude. I really appreciate you being such a big part of this. Zamora made it. Good to see you, Zamora. Thank you so much. Eagle Voyage, thank you for stopping by. Hope you have a good day, brother. Loke Doc Fell. Yeah, baby. We'll see you next Sunday, homie. Michael Anthony, thanks for stopping by. Hope I wasn't too brutally honest with you. Torqued up as always. My man, Jolene. Jolene. Little nibble at the open. Of what? Oh, at open of the open? All right. Thanks for the donation, Gary. I hope you guys have a great night. And to everyone else, I bid you adieu. Robert Tainch. Ooh, I almost missed him. And Mama. I almost missed Mama. All right. Talk to you later, guys. Take care. Peace.